Hi, this is Tom, K-Bar user. Okay, last video we covered maintenance and tool maintenance and whatnot. Now, as y'all know, I'm a bushcrafter, woodsman, survivalist, whatever you want to call me. I live in the woods. I'm not a big prepper to say. I am a prepper to a certain extent. Now here's a scenario. We got a bug out. We get in our vehicle, we're going down the road. Now somebody takes out a tire, puts the vehicle out of commission, around through the block, whatever happens. Now, you and your family, or if you're not overrun, now you have to survive. Do you know how to? I know a lot of preppers out there practice prepping, practice how to shoot their guns and how to reload ammunition real fast. Do you know how to survive in the woods? You know how to make snares and traps? Because this is not camping now, this is survival. It's another aspect of survival. You know how to make snares and traps so that you're not using up your ammo, you're not letting loose a gunshot to be heard around the world. Don't forget, 22 right now makes a small crack that can be heard probably a quarter of a mile. But that's what all the traffic, all the noise that we hear every day for granted, that if something like this does happen, that noise ain't going to be there. So now that 22 that only carried a quarter of a mile might be carrying a half, 3/4 of a mile. You let off a big round like a 12 gauge or an AK 30-06, even a 223 is going to carry. And if you fire more than one round, somebody's going to start to pinpoint you. So, on the survival aspect, do you know how to survive out there? Do you know how to set up brush shelters? Do you know how to set up, you know how to start fires, stealth fires? Do you know how to cover your tracks? Do you know how to, for that matter, do you know what to look for while you're walking through the woods to see if there's somebody in front of you or if somebody has been through that area? You might be in a high traffic area between a couple of people. And they might be using their backyards and the woods to run between this house to that house with their neighbors. And now all of a sudden you're in the middle of everything and you've caught them. If you don't know there's somebody running through there, it could get messy. You know, just for instance, you're in the middle of camp in the middle of the night, which is probably when most things are going to run back and forth. All of a sudden there's some guy standing in your camp armed to the teeth while you and your family are sleeping, or you know, your wife was on guard and he scared the bejiggers out of her and you're caught with your pants down one way or another. Do you know how to set up perimeter alarms? Stuff like that. You're going to need to know how to survive. You're going to need some survival training. A lot of great stuff on YouTube. You know, there's manuals, there's books. Some of them that I would suggest was no copyright infringements on these books, but I would suggest the SAS Survival Handbook. I would also suggest Mike Hawk's Survival Handbook. There's a number of other good ones out there, Cody Lundine's. And for the most part, remember this: what worked 1,000 years ago for mountain men will work for you now. So you might want to even think about looking into a book of primitive skills. And this way here, if all junk hits the fan and you're stuck out in the woods with just you and your knife, you could fashion a spear, you could fashion a bow, you could fashion arrows, and have some sort of defense. I mean, spears are self-explanatory. But do you have extra blades to put on the tip, or are you just going to fire harden the tip? Have you ever fire hardened the tip of a spear? If you haven't, this is not a good time to start learning. Have you ever built a wilderness shelter? A lean-to out of pine boughs and sticks? Or how about a wickiup? Or snow trench? Have you ever tried any of this? Being prepared is not just about, hunkering down in your house and, preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. Being prepared means that if you're in the house or if you're outside on the run, you're prepared for whatever comes by. And the more knowledge you get, the less kit you're going to need. The more knowledge you have about how to survive out there, the less stuff you're going to need to carry. That's just plain and long and short of it. You can always make do with what you find along the way. I mean, I'm sure if something like this is going to happen, if it does, there's going to be, tarps to be had, and, people's wood tarps, tents, anything you can think of might be set up in the backyard, and if it happens, they're not going to be thinking about taking their tent down. They're going to think about staying in the house, so you might just happen across the tent that you can steal at 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever. But if you're out there with your family, think about their safety. You got wild animals running loose, mean domesticated dogs running through the woods. I mean, what happens if you run into somebody's pit bull that accidentally got out on them? You're a stranger and he attacks you. Are you prepared for that? Some areas of this country, you have not only bears, but you have gators, you have snakes. Are you prepared for any of that stuff that you come across? You will come across it, you have to. If you're not bugged in. Or sheltered in, hunkered in, whatever they call it. If you plan on heading to the great outdoors to bug out, or you plan on getting into a bug out vehicle to get to your next location and it breaks down, you need to know some skills to, say, take a compass out of your pocket and say, okay, we're 5 miles away from our bug out area. This is the direction we need to go because it says right here on the map. You have all that packed away in case you need it. If you don't need it, hey, then you don't need it. But if you do, and you don't have it, you know how to dead reckon and stuff like that. There's a lot of different survival knowledge that will keep a person who's bugging out alive if, unfortunately, it happens that you get stuck in a traffic jam, your car gets taken out, you just go off the road because you're driving like a maniac. Or you try to go around a traffic jam or a roadblock or whatever and wind up in a ditch. So, this is something for you to think about. Maybe start a little survival training too. So this is part 6. I probably got 3 more parts before I wrap it up. So, I hope you're liking them. If you are here, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Share it. This is K-Bar User. I'd like to thank you for your time and your patience. And like I said, if you like it, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'll see you on, I guess it would be part 7. Alright, good night.